All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Hello and welcome. It is time for the second of two evaluation races, or as we like to say, preseason races here. It's the Division 1 Championship or preseason championship here at ISRL Esports, and we are here in Shanghai. It is time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in here. My name is Fallen Monkeys, or Eric, here in the commentator's booth to take you through the action. Joined, of course, by Jamie. Jamie, how you doing today? Excited for what we've got in store here this afternoon?
Yeah, very excited around here around Chinese Grand Prix, second evaluation race, like you said. So it'll be very interesting to see how the drivers' pace are like tonight's race, especially around this track, because this track is a real tester for the drivers, like the Russian Grand Prix last week. So it should be another interesting one. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. This track, of course, has a little bit of everything. A couple slow-speed corners, high-speed corners, a long back straight down in Sector 3, as you can see on the mini-map. It's got something for everybody, so I'm sure we're in for a treat, as I've got Nolan, who's just running out an outlap right now. If I jump on board, looking dry, seeing a little bit of cloudy conditions, though, here in China. Very eerily similar to what I noticed in the Division 3 race and also the Division 2 race as far as qualifying is concerned. Not too many drivers out on track, though, which leads me to believe we might just be having a dry session here. So I don't think, at least initially, weather's going to play too much of an immediate factor here as far as qualifying is concerned. But with 18 minutes of qualifying action to go, still time for things to change, and we'll see how it's all going to play out. So let's take a look here, and I'm noticing lots of drivers here out on the soft tires for their first laps. I think we'll see a lot of soft tire runs here in the beginning stages, but assuming things stay dry, we might see a couple more drivers later on in the session try for the medium tires, try to qualify into the top 10, get into that good qualifying position with a bit more the racy tire. Of course, I've heard drivers tend to avoid the softs, but I've got QVR Campbell coming around the final corner, and Jamie, do you want to take us through a lap here of Shanghai?
Yeah, gladly then. So coming towards turn one, then this is curb ends. That's where you want to turn it. Use the engine to the brake in as we go down into third gear, second gear. Now kiss the apex for this one, and for this one as well, just kiss the apex here. Then you want to be really careful with traction because it catches a lot of people out. The back end will step out, as you can see there, just a little bit for QVR Campbell. Nevertheless, you negotiate it well. Main overtaking possible. Opportunity is around about here. He just misses the apex there. You want to kiss it, and he just misses it. So coming to left-hander there, this is where the tyres will overheat, especially these soft compound tyres. These tyres are mainly used for one lap, but when it comes to multiple laps around here in Shanghai, they will overheat and suffer, especially this bit of part. Coming towards turn 9 and turn 10, but be really careful on the exit as well, because you can catch a lot of people out. That curb can unsettle the car. And this one here, just pick your braking point and kiss the apex here. Nice simple corner. Then this one here can be really, really challenging. This long sweeping right-hander here. Just be really, really patient on the throttle. And as soon as you're on the straight, don't go out too wide through here, which he doesn't do. Nice exit there. He's on the straight now. Full throttle. Approaches the DRS side. This is where you'll see overtaking happening. The DRS train as well. Going to about 200 miles per hour, 323 kilometers an hour. Braking at the 100 meter important. You want to just kiss the apex here. Another lock up there. It goes into third gear, doesn't shift down second for the extra rotation. Then on the top we go, a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. Coming to the left hander here, just send it through here and coming towards the DRS zone. Then let's see what lap time he sets. It's a 30.8. Decent first lap for QVR Campbell. No mistakes there, as I've seen on that lap time. Just a nice bike just to settle in. And no one behind him goes third place, but Nathan with a 30.4. I know Nathan has tested this track before in a different league, and his one lap pace is quite good around here, but when it comes to race pace, he has suffered a little bit. Walter goes into P2 with a 30.8 by 4 tenths off, so Nathan then currently on provisional pole with a very good lap time at a 30.4.
Yeah, very good lap time indeed there from Nathan, the 30.4, taking that provisional pole position. But going back on that lap from Campbell, A 30.8, still a very good time, all considered. You can see puts him into third right now, right below the time set by Wouter there. But of course, there is definitely room for improvement, as we saw. I believe it was turn 4, turn 5, just the start of sector 2, that hairpin style corner. A little bit of a lock up there, and I did notice on the actually the corner we're seeing Campbell come back now. I noticed he went up to 5th gear, really trying to under rev the car to gain the speed. I'm not too sure, Jamie, you might know a little bit more about that than I do, but I tend to go into 3rd, and as the revs build up into 4th, just to get that extra acceleration. It works for me, but I noticed that from Campbell. But still a good lap, all considered. But Nathan, 30.4, you mentioned he had some practice here with another league, but still a very good time to start things off here in these still early stages, and we'll have to see how some of these other drivers are going to respond. And looking at the first few laps here from some of the more known powerhouses, Wouter, like we said, in second. He's at Kush, the defending champion, only down in 4th with a 30.9. We know Pease has a lot of pace, but he's actually had an invalidation somewhere along the way, so he's not going to have a lap time set.
We've got Mark heading around the final corner now, coming to the long left-hander, and the DRS is enabled there for him, and it's going to be a 31.5, which pops me to P5 in between Tin Can and Sufyan in P9. I think Dan's also got the validation as well. You'll see a lot of validation because this track can really catch people out. If not with traction issues, it probably with the exceeded track issues. So this track can really catch people out. Eats that cush up into people, like you said.
Yep, and a couple, you were talking about track limits, and very fitting, you were mentioning, right as you were mentioning the track limits, I watched Larkin have an invalidation going a little bit too wide on the exit of the corner before the long back straight. So unfortunately for Larkin, it's going to have to be another trip around the lap here to get a time set. And you can see here, I'm noticing a lot of drivers just bailing out of that first lap very quickly. Going to be putting on a fresh set of tires, going to be going again. It looks like we've seen in so many of the other races here, drivers tend to go out in bunches all together to get their lap time set, and then they all just jump into the pits again. But I can see Larkin maybe going for another one here. He's put on a set of medium tires, so trying to get that lap time set on the bit more the racy tires. You mentioned it during Campbell's flying lap, Jamie, that soft tires, they're good for one lap pace here as far as qualifying is concerned, but in a bit more of a race pace, I guess, atmosphere, I'll say, they're just really going to overheat. They're really not going to last all that long, so I don't think it's really going to be a tire too many drivers are going to go for, unless, of course, they're obligated to put them on. Let's say they start the race on those tires, being in the top 10, or possibly a late safety car in the race, which can allow them to get onto that quicker tire. But we'll see here on the second time around, Larkin keeping it clean as he approaches the hairpin here quickly on the brakes. Takes it pretty nicely as far as I can see. Only one corner to go, and as he turns in, takes it a little bit wide compared to what I see. A lot of drivers really like to put that car right in between that sausage curb, right down the middle there, to try to gain a bit more pace. And only a 32.3 for Larkin puts him up into P10 for the moment.
It was a nice lap. His second lap there, I've seen him hitting every apex and hit the breakers, so it's very nice not going too deep. So it's a decent lap there from Larkin, but obviously those two lap hole medium tyres, I think he'll come in to the pit lane and switch over to the set of soft compound tyres like everybody else. We've got a majority of people on their out lap, including Campbell, who's coming towards the final corner to set his second flying lap. So if you want to go on with him, I'll take you through again. So, good to tell where we go. Long sweepy right-hander here. Just use the engine braking for this one. Want to go out wide, but don't drift out too out wide, because you obviously want to meet with the apex here, which he does on the front right tyre. This one here has a slight look up on entry, still managed to make the corner. Decent exit this time, doesn't look wobbly as last time, so we'll gain a bit of time through there. Coming into turn 6, hitting the 100 metre board, already 800s up, so this is a good starter lap so far. Doesn't go as deep as last time, does Campbell. And let's see, they're coming into this long left-hander here. He lifts off. You don't really want to hit that curve on the entry because that will spin the car around. And this one here, double downshifted, Now coming through turn 9 and turn 10, up into 4th gear immediately on the exit, into 5th gear he goes, that's what I tend to do as well. And nicely on the exit there, car well planted, as we come into turn 11 then, hitting the apex on the entry, very nicely indeed, and this one as well, up into 5th gear he goes immediately to try and reduce that wheel spin and traction as much as he can, and there we go, that long sweeping right-handed downhill as we approach then the DRS sign. This is a good lap time so far from Cam, but I think he's got more to gain in this last sector as well from the hairpin as we make our way towards the 100-meter board there. Car on the way, but it doesn't affect him too much. Lock up on entry, kiss the apex, up into 3rd gear he goes. Short shifted immediately, which he didn't do the last time, but he does this time. Coming into this left-hander here, flick it in, get the speed up, and let's see what lap time he does then. A 30.5, and he improves by almost 3 tenths, so that's a very decent lap time there for Campbell.
Yeah, much better this time around than it was previously, as you mentioned. I know you saw a couple of moments there, but very quickly I noticed no lockup right in the start of Sector 2, and already that alone saved him a bunch of time, and just a relatively cleaner Sector 1 and Sector 3, although there might be a little bit more for Campbell to find just around that final corner. Seemed to be a little bit more cautious in flicking it in, but completely understandable, not wanting to get that lap invalidated so close to the end, knowing that you're up on your lap time, or quicker than the previous lap time here. But I'm seeing Wouter as well, 2 tenths faster on this second lap time here as he's coming down the long back straight, and he's also got another car there. I believe that might be his teammate of Tin Can, who's giving him a little bit of help down the long back straight. The 2 Alfa Romeos working as a team here, a little bit of a tow as he breaks into the hairpin, takes it very nicely, taking a little bit of curb there, and as he's got one more corner to go, let's see if there's going to be any improvement. Jumps on the that inside curb just a little bit, but keeps it under control. And lost out a little bit of time there in the final few corners, and looks like he's going to stay in 4th, but he's at Kush. As I was watching, Wouter set a much quicker lap, a 30.501, and that puts him up into 2nd, but still nobody's able to keep up with what Nathan's done here with the 30.479 from quite some time ago now.
Information further down, Dan's up into P5, he just crossed the line to set that time, and his teammate Jeroen Visser, I saw on the full map that the McLaren was on a lap time, and the McLaren just spun off, and that was Jeroen Visser. He only fueled his car for 1 lap, and therefore he has to come back to the pits. So Jeroen Visser, with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go then, one of the 2 drivers with P's that haven't set a lap time just yet, so they need to set a lap time, otherwise they'll start down there in P16 and P17. Jeroen Visser on the back foot with that spin, but hopefully he can recover.
Yeah, not ideal there. There still is definitely some time to go, but with the qualifying time ticking down, 5 minutes and some change left in this session, no time on the board. I'm sure they're going to be feeling the pressure once they do head out to get their lap set, and it might just be a one and done, one last opportunity to go out for both Pease and Jerome with this amount of time left. But although they might just be willing to fuel for maybe 2 laps just to give themselves a little bit more that margin for error. And seeing as they're both, for now, showing the medium tires, I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Now, drivers currently on a lap right now. Looks like Jamie won in 15th at the moment. One of the, the only driver who's above the 32s at least, looking to improve as he's got 1 corner to go and abandoning that lap, diving into the pits, so will not be improving. And also Nathan JB, I believe, might be on a lap right now as he's just approaching the end of Sector 2. Looking at the time, he's about a second faster through Sector 2. So it's looking to be a much better lap from Nathan JB if he can just keep it under control, keep it composed through the final sector. He's got the back straight here to go down. So a little bit of breathing room here. Opens DRS exactly where he needed to, so can just focus on finding that braking point right around where that curb starts at the 100-meter board, like you were mentioning, Jamie, for the braking point there. And with 1 corner to go, can he improve on his lap, and where is he going to end up? He's not going to improve. Let me on there, did Nathan JB, just to dive into the pits.
Well,
how dare he?
Rotation's retired, but we've got Javoon Visser, who's just came out of the pit lane on the medium compound tyres. Now, if he wants to change his mind, I don't think he can, because if he comes back into pit lane, I don't think he has enough time. So Javoon Visser has committed towards the medium compound tyres. I think that's the same way, the same direction there for Total P's down there in P16. So those two opted to go for a different strategy. And Jamie Wan's out there on his outlap on the soft compound tyres. Campbell's out there on the soft, so everybody else now coming towards the end of qualifying is coming out the pit lane. We're just waiting for P to see what he does. He's got 2 minutes and 55 seconds to make his mind up before he does out the pit lane and see what lap time he set. Chavuvas are then out there pretty early. That's probably because if he does validate on his first lap, he could probably go for a second lap. Being a medium compound tyres, they don't suffer as much on the second lap, like the soft compound tyres taking too much weight out of them.
Yep, and I think for Jerome there might have been that extra fuel up as well, going a little bit early, planning for possibly 2 laps, or like you mentioned, maybe taking a lap in a little bit. So if there's an early mistake, he can very quickly go into fuel saving mode for a second preparation lap, so to speak, to go out right at the end. But as he's coming around the final corner and about to start his lap, we'll see how it's all going to play out now with 2 minutes and some change to go in this short qualifying session. We know Jerome's got the pace, but we'll have to see where he can put himself with those medium tires. And looking at the board right now, if I look at the best tire, really, the top 10 is all occupied by soft tire runners for the moment. So we'll see if Jerome can break into the top 10 on those mediums and see if he can get a little bit of a cushion. But yeah, I think you saw that too, just losing the back end on the exit of that corner. A little bit of a time loss there for Jerome, and also crucially, P's retired out of qualifying, so he's going to be not setting a time in this session and probably starting from the back of the grid.
Probably, and also that P6 Nolan, it says on the tyre information that Nolan has gone onto the medium compound tyres. He's covered his outlap, so he thinks he can go quicker on those mediums with a 31.1 as his best time on the soft tyres. So we'll see what he could do. Can he get up there? If he could be the highest medium runner in P6. Mark's retired as well down there in P9. We've got Jeruvas then coming towards the back straight, approaching about 200 miles per hour, 320 kilometers an hour, and now they're braking at the 100 meter board with these medium compound tyres. He locks up. Can he get the grip with these mediums with traction? No, he doesn't. He spins,
no.
And that's it for him. How much time he's got left on the board? He resets the track, obviously, but 45 seconds to go. If he wants to go for a second lap, he's got the fuel, but what about the tyres? Are they in good shape to go for a second lap time? He probably is going for it again.
He's gonna have to.
Had no chance to cool those mediums down, so we're going out there again with those medium compound tyres. As Nathan then goes quickest with a 30.2, very good lap time indeed. It's got more drivers about to cross the line to finish or start their lap times with 25 seconds left to go on the board there.
Yep, let's see. So Nathan, a 30.2, 15 seconds to go just about in this session. Is that going to be enough, or will we see somebody snag pole position? I'm not too sure why it was showing me Nathan when I switched over to Isaac Kush to see where he was at coming through Sector 1. If I look at the sector time, about 2/100ths faster. We've got Campbell, who's been floating around that P3 right now, coming down the hairpin. He's got a Ferrari ahead of him there of, I believe that was Carmentalis. They're both going to be crossing the line very shortly, so let's see what the time's going to be. I think Carmentalis must have invalidated. Campbell going up to second with a 30.4. Next we've got, I believe that's Dan who's crossing the line. He goes up into fourth there, knocking Wouter down to fifth. But as Wouter's going to cross the line, can he take it back? No, he can't. Actually slower this time around, so will remain in fifth. Oh my goodness!
Crash. Oh, that was coming ever since the Ferrari spun. Isaac Kush, worst possible position because he was on a flying lap. He went 1/10 quicker in the middle sector. Ever since that Ferrari spun, the Mercedes collected him, and it was ghosted, but there was nothing Isaac Kush could do anything about that. And the Ferrari survives another day, as you can see on the screen there. So that's a massive shame there, as Jeruvas puts him into P12. What could have Isaac Kush done as he crossed the line? But he could have got a slipstream off that Ferrari if he kept it on the track. But so yeah, it is the pre-season, so luckily it's not the official championship.
Yeah, a little bit of time to iron out. I mean, it's the time to get those ironed out. Sorry, what would you mention?
Did you see the crash?
Well, I saw essentially the end of it as I was switching over to see to find drivers cross the line as soon as I got on board with Izat Kush, right when the contact happened. So I didn't see anything leading up to it. I just saw the contact and the outcome. As we watched Nathan JB there cross the line, he jumped up quite a bit to go up to 7th, and with XL Tin Can and Jamie and both heading into the pit lane, it is going to be Ariel Nathan who is going to be hanging on to that pole position about 2/10 of a second faster than QVR Campbell, but I'm sure if you're Izat Kush or a fan of Izat Kush there, you're probably thinking about what could have been given the pace we know Izat has, and of course it wouldn't have been the first time that Izat would have just crept up and snagged that pole position right at the end there, but I guess it wasn't meant to be here. Still a solid P3 though for him, nonetheless. But a little bit of a very exciting qualifying and a little bit of chaos, possibly some controversy, but I think from what you saw with the Ferrari, not much she could have done once he lost the back end on the exit. Kind of just a passenger and just hoping to not get in anybody's way.
He was on the medium compound tyres, so he just didn't really have the grip through that fast, long sweeping right-hander there. So I don't know if he was actually on the lap or not, because Isak Kush was quite close to him, but nevertheless the damage is done now. We'll just have to wait for the race. But yeah, Nathan on pole position then. This time round, I hope he's got the pace, because he did drop like a stone in the last time round when it came to the Chinese Grand Prix from pole position. So hopefully he has got the pace to try and stick with it. But good job from Nathan there in P1. Campbell as well in P2, put a good performance again like last time in Russia. Isak Kush P3, Dan P4, Walter in P5. So that's a very interesting grid there.
Yep, very good top 5, and from what I noticed there as well, the top 10 all starting on the soft tires, so they will be getting, they will be pitting, I would think, fairly early. From my experience on this track, the soft tires last maybe about 5-6 laps. It's really not a long time. But of course, the question is, will they try to extend the medium tires, or will they just bite the bullet, put on a set of hard tires? And that's all assuming they just commit to the one-stop, never mind the two-stop options as well.
Judging from previous experiences, I think the soft to hard is actually the most preferred strategy around there, soft to hard. But soft to medium, you think you can do, but the tyre wear will come to the end will very, very quickly be on those medium compound tyres, and the hards will kick back in. Also, being in the DRS train is very easy around here as well, so if you're on the hard compound tyres, you benefit from that as well, being close with the medium runners. So I think the soft to hard strategy is the way to go. But obviously, people in that top 10 will be looking for an undercut, because I think we're going to see a massive DRS train earlier on. Then we'll have the group splitting up as soon as those pit stops start to happen.
Oh, definitely. We'll see how it's all gonna play out. We've got the one light off for Nathan to lead the charge on the formation lap. If I take a look at the tire choices here, interesting to say the least. Like we said, the top 10 all in the soft tires, and essentially as you go down the order here, when you look at free choice of tires, so from Mark all the way down, essentially, other than rotation and P's, who put on the mediums and the soft tires respectively, everybody else decided they wanted to go for the opposite strategy, put on a set of hard tires, go long, and quite possibly pit at the end of this race for a set of soft tires. So just running the opposite strategy of what you're mentioning. So top 10 soft to hards, and I would think for the most part, bottom 5 or so, middle 5, going hard to softs.
Yep, indeed. And also, P's there down in P8. He's got a lot of hard runners ahead of him and medium runners as well. So you should really get a good start off the line. And also from start of P17, he'll be coming towards he's the last one of the drivers to come to the grid, so he'll have the most heated tyres. And it should look good for total P's. And down in P17, he can try and get ahead and join the other soft runners down there in the top 10. Rotation, the only one on the medium compound tyres, so I presume he's going to do the mediums to hard strategy, and the rest hards to softs. Oh, Isak Kush has spun. He spun coming out to the long right-hander there. He just warmed up the tyres, and that's not going to do his tyres any favours whatsoever. That's his qualifier tyres, so he'll add more wear to them.
No, definitely not going to help at all. I mean, better to get that out of the way in the formation lap than in the actual race itself. But definitely not going to help with the tire heating situation with those already worn soft tires that he's got on the car here. But we'll see how that's all. We'll see how that's going to play out for him, especially in the on the start of this race and through the first few corners when it really matters the most. And also, Jamie and Sophia on coming together. I think with the slowdown down that back straight, with everybody trying to get that last little bit of temperature into the tires. I think maybe just misjudging the distance, maybe a little bit of weaving having to do something with getting the heat in the tires, but they've come together, and you can see both those cars already on the grid ready to go, but with slightly colder tires than the rest of the field.
Jeroen spun coming out the hairpin there, but yeah, Jamie and Sophia and the hard tyres, they need to get the temperature because those tyres will lose temperature very, very quickly if they stay longer on the grid. But here goes Jeroen Visser then, the last man to come across the line to start the grid.
Yep, and we'll see. I mean, given he's got the hard tires, maybe that spin will come in handy, put a little bit of extra temperature in them, but...
That's what I do. That's what I do as well.
We'll see, all part of Jerome's master plan to work his way up the grid, but as the grid is set, here we go for 28 laps around China, up to 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 red lights. And the lights are off, and we are racing here in China, as it looks to be a pretty good start from everybody here. Nathan able to hang on to the lead, trying to fend off Campbell, and you can see Izad Kush trying to go around the outside here to fight for that P2. We've got a yellow flags. It looks to be Jerome. Not a good start for him, as he's way down the order now in 17th. But through the first few corners, Izad Kush is able to overtake Campbell. He gets up into second, and a little bit further behind, a little bit more shuffling for positions. Wouter leading the rest of the pack. We can see Dan and Nathan trying to get ahead. We've got another yellow flag here. That's Jamie 1, who had a little bit of a moment through what I believe is turn 4, that first kind of hairpin. But also, from what we can see on screen, you can see Larkin putting a lot of pressure right up on the back of Nathan JB, trying to practically push him around that corner section here. So he's trying to get past, but we said, other than Jerome and Jamie, who had a little bit of an early mistake, oh my goodness, words are difficult. Pretty good start from everybody, and I gotta say, Total P's up into 10th place already. So really making those soft tires work for him in these early stages. He's already caught up to this lead pack of soft tire runners.
Yeah, exactly what he needs, getting past those hard runners. He's found the back of comments this one. We try and go around the outside. And his teammates right ahead of him too as they go side by side on the hairpin. Total P should have better traction. Around the outside he goes, dips a wheel on the grass, but makes that move stick. What a move there from Total P's P17 to P9 already on the first lap. So good performance there from Total P's. But that was a really good start there from Relentless Nathan. He was unchallenged at the front, whereas Isa Kush and Campbell went side by side. Good race between Isa Kush and Campbell going side by side throughout turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3 and ended it throughout turn 4. So good job from those two there.
Yeah, and we saw Nolan and Larkin. I think Nolan tried to go for a little bit of an optimistic move into turn 2 or turn 3 there on Larkin. Nearly became the next victim of that famous Cody's hook, from what I could see. But thankfully, everybody was able to keep calm, and we can just continue racing like it didn't even happen there. But I think this battle's only just begun, and looking at the top two, very crucially now, Nathan leading, he's still within that 1 second, but for Campbell, who's behind in third, he's already 1.2 seconds behind. So with already on lap 2, that 1 second gap just about being built, I think Campbell, he's going to have to get moving a little bit before DRS gets activated, or else he might be able to kiss that top 2 goodbye, as we've got another yellow flag, and that looks to be Jerome Visser again.
Yeah, Jerome Visser, he struggled there in qualifying on the stock car tires. P's then, he overtakes his teammate, or he's going to go side by side then into the hairpin to go. This time he cuts the corner though, that could lead to possible illegal overtake. He made that move stick before he did that, so he overtakes his teammate for P8. They might get a warning for corner cutting, but then lap 3 DRS is enabled then. Like you said, Campbell needs to drag himself in that 1 second range of DRS, and that is another yellow flag, and that's Andy Viking, who spun out the final corner there. that rejoins down to P17. So these hard compound tyres earlier on in the race with the heavy fuel load and the track not really gripping in properly, not doing anyone any favours so far. But Campbell then 1.1 seconds behind, maybe use that extra ERS to try and get himself in that range. Otherwise, he'll be a DRS provider towards Walter, Dan, and Nathan behind.
Yeah, and that's a lot of very fast drivers that he's got behind him that he's gonna have to try to keep behind. I'm sure he knows as well as we do that if he can get DRS on Izat ahead, is definitely gonna help, or else he might just be a sitting duck once they head down that long back straight of Sector 3. But we'll see how that's gonna work out. He's not really gaining all that much. That gap's been just sort of staying around 1.1, 1.2 seconds here. And I don't think he got there. So I think you'll see Zach Kush get DRS on Nathan as they hit the detection point or hit the line there. There we have it. But looking at Campbell, he does not have DRS. So can Wouter possibly gain enough? As now Dan as well falling behind to outside that 1 second gap. Meanwhile, you can see Pease trying to stick it around the outside of Larkin. Goes for a little bit of a switchback move. So he's on the inside, but it's going to turn into the outside, and I think very wisely decides not to go side by side for that final corner. Loaded. Oh no!
Oh, he lost it on the final corner and he broke his foot wing as well for good measure. Luckily, he didn't lose a wheel like Antonio Giovinazzi did back in 2017. But Nolan then a victim of that, well, the second victim of that final corner because Manu Viking also spun there. But the nice battle going on between terms of Pease and Larkin. Like you said, he tried to do a pitch back, but Larkin had the inside line. There's no way for Pease. Pease, a man on a mission here, trying to recover from last place here. Is he close enough? No. Larkin defends the inside line, but will he try and go around the outside into turn 6? There's an opportunity for overtaking here, but he's not just close enough there to make a move, so he'll have to stay there for the time being. Walter's so close behind Campbell as well, so Campbell will have to focus all about Walter now because he can't get himself in that 1 second range of DRS of Isa Kush, and Nathan is also in front in first place. He's struggling as Isa Kush has lost it there, but out of 10 on the curb, which is quite common to do.
Yep, and we'll keep an eye out on this. You can see, like you're saying, Izat is starting to close up on Nathan a little bit here on lap 4, taking a very tight line through the through that sweeping right-hand corner as Jerome takes a 3-second time penalty, very close behind.
Spot as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, not ideal. And here comes Izat Kush going to the inside with DRS. The move's essentially done and dusted here into the braking zone. Nathan trying to come back at him with that tighter line on the exit, but it's not gonna work there. So Izat Kush takes the lead of the Grand Prix as to start at the end of lap 4, start lap 5. And how is Nathan gonna respond now as he's trying to charge back right up behind, but crucially did not have DRS, it didn't look like, down that start-finish straight.
Taking the inside line is Pease on Larkin. They're side by side now as they come into turn 3. Larkin has the inside line. Pease, can he get a better exit with traction around the outside? Going side by side. Oh, Larkin clips the back of him. He almost spins, but manages to save it. And he has comments that said we'll have the Ferrari all over the back of him. But I'm not quite sure what happened there between Larkin and Pease. Should Pease give enough space, or I don't know, but Giroud has retired from the session. Sadly for him, didn't go his way whatsoever on those hard compound tyres. Just struggling around this Chinese Grand Prix. It's a very difficult, challenging track. Is Shanghai, but look at Walter there. Ever since he got past Campbell, he's reduced that gap to 1.1 seconds. He was in the below the 1 second range momentarily, but just dipped outside of it. So can he try and find a way to get back in that 1 second range of DRS so he can try and fight for the lead between Nathan and Isa Kush? But can Nathan respond back then as we head on to the back straight? He's in DRS range. Is he close enough? As you can see there, Isa Kush having more ERS in comparison to Nathan. What Nathan will probably try to do is try and save that battery because he is low, so he might spend a few laps behind Isa Kush and try and save that battery power as we go into the hip. And then no overtakes being done so far as Campbell's all over the back of Wild. We've got an overtake between Car Mentalist and Pease. That's not Pease, that's Larkin going down the inside of Car Mentalist, and they're going side by side as they go out the corner. Car Mentalist was a much better traction, takes a place away. We've got somebody in the pits, that's Dan. Oh, he's lost it in the pits. He hit the wall, but I'm not quite sure if he broke his front wing. We're about to find out as the pit crew get ready for him. He's just optimistic on the top of there was Dan, and we'll see if he has to change his front wing. No, he does not. Lucky escape from him.
Yeah, very, very lucky escape indeed. As I saw him falling down, so I was fearing the worst. So I switched over to him just as he was switching in the pits and caught just the beginning of the unsettling of the car. Right as I switched out, thinking just regular scheduled pit stop. I think you're going to mention something, but I'm seeing Nathan still sticking right behind Izat Kush, both sitting with about a quarter DRS left, so very similar, ERS as far as battery's concerned, to play with. And Nathan got close a lap ago. Let's see if he can get the overtake done. And Wouter, as much as he was gaining, he's still only at around a 1.2 second gap. So still very similar to what we saw Campbell with, just unable to grow that gap quicker than 1.2. And I think not having DRS down this back straight is really hindering that catch up here. But you can see Nathan going very much so to the right hand side, trying to break the toe, but unable to close up enough there on our race leader for the moment to get the overtake done. So once again, Izat in first, Nathan in second as they head around the final corner. But Campbell getting ahead of Wouter as Wouter, he bites the bullet. He's going to take a pit stop here, maybe go a little bit earlier than some of the other runners, as now Pease continues his charge up the field as he gets ahead of the Red Bull of Nathan JB with DRS into turn 1.
So, Walter then, he's going to go on the hardcore power tyres. Interestingly, I thought it a bit too early to choose the medium core power tyres for down there. It might do a two-stop. Can he stretch those mediums towards the end? We don't know. But anyways, will Dan get ahead of Walter? Where is he? Just behind Walter. There he is then. So, Walter, Dan on those medium core power tyres should be faster now in theory towards Walter being on those one step better tyres. So he can stay in DRS range and they'll both try and get a good outlap. So these drivers on their outlaps will start to suffer on those soft compound tyres and potentially get ahead of him to do that undercut threat. That's looking good in P30. He can stick to Walter or overtake him. But Nathan, you said he's the one that's breaking the toe, trying to get out of the way of the turbulent air while he's just cooling down the engine just a bit. And we'll go to the back straight again. I think these drivers will respond then on the next lap. Will they go on the hard or will they go on the medium? Nathan go very wide without the right-hander there. You can see just suffer with understeer as DRS enabled once again for Nathan. Just goes to the right hand side, breaking that slipstream, just trying to make sure he cool the car down. You can see him weaving all over the place, just trying to put Eastern Cushions under pressure as he can as Mark. There he's right behind Tink and he goes down the inside into the hairpin. Late move there from Mark. He cuts him off and that was a good move there from Mark. Late to the break, so confident. Nathan is in the pit lane. Issa Kush, interestingly, stays out there.
Yeah, very interesting. Izat Kush going a little bit longer. I think Nathan in possibly a similar thought process to Wouter one lap ago, thinking, okay, this move isn't this overtake isn't going to get done on track with the similar tires. And we see that for the last 2 laps, just trying to keep the engine cool, really heating up the engine, being stuck in that slipstream. So I think he's trying something. He's trying something here with a pit stop. But very crucially, he's now come out right behind Wouter. So it looks like Wouter had a great outlap here as he's stuck behind Dan. But at least from what I can see initially, we'll have to see what happens once Izat takes his pit stop. But as far as that top 3 battle's concerned, well, just as I say that, Wouter goes very deep in that corner, and that very easily opens the door for Nathan, and you didn't have to tell him twice to go for that move there. But it looks like the early pit stop in this stage of the race is working. It looks like those soft tires are really losing a little bit more grip, and I think...
Yeah, he's pushing Car Mentalist right through the corner there, as he will love the DRS then. Yeah,
and I gotta thank Mark for essentially bringing this up. This is going to be my next point. As we saw Mark on the hard tires, he's starting to fly by, or attempting to fly by, a lot of these runners who have been on those soft tires. So I think we're seeing that changeover period where the soft tires are starting to fall off a cliff here. There goes Izat into the pits, Campbell pitting, Pease, Nathan, Tin Can all pitting as well. Only Car Mentalist on the soft tires staying out for 1 extra lap here, as now Mark is the leader of this race, but now Car Mentalist is going to have Sophia on to worry about here on those hard tires right behind.
One thing we didn't notice that Nathan got past Dan and Walter on the same lap. As soon as Walter came out of the pits, Dan overtook him. Then when Nathan came out of the pits, he overtook both pair of them. So Nathan making big progress. And interestingly, he put a car in between himself and Walter. So he's on a man on a mission as well. As where is Isaac Kush? So he rejoins behind Walter. He's been undercutted by all three of them. He was the race leader, and now he's dropped down to ninth place. So he's on the medium compound tyres course, fresh medium compound tyres. I don't think he's lost a lot because Walter's just ahead of him on those hard compound tyres. So once they get up to temperature, we should see an interesting fight happen soon on those that field there. But Carl Benson said, like you said, the only one on the soft compound tyre. You can see how bad the grain they are. He's just all over the place. Sadly for him at the moment, he's going to drop like a stone. He has to pit this lap. And Sophia then all over the back of him. That is a Williams on Nolan.
Yeah, that was Nolan.
There goes Sophia then side by side, and DRS enabled for him. Should be an easy move. I don't think Carl Benson's fight too hard because I think you'll need to go in the pit lane and put on a medium set of tyres then. So Walter, the only one of the hard compound tyres in terms of new tyres. The rest of them have gone for medium compound tyres. So let's see then, will the hards work or will the mediums work?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, for Welter, he can definitely go to the end of the Grand Prix on that set of hard tires. There's really not much of an issue whatsoever. My question is more for all of these, for everybody else who put on a set of medium tires, can they go to the end, and are those medium tires going to last? Are they going to have enough pace to go to the end here? As now Carmentelis does take his pit stop, the last of the soft tire runners to fall. Taking them 9 laps, which is, I mean, to be fair, a lot longer than what I thought they were going to go for here. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past a lot of these runners here that are on the mediums to be able to squeeze out every possible inch of performance and try to get them working for them till the end of this Grand Prix. But for 18 to 20 laps to go on these medium tires, it is going to be a tall order to ask for here. As you can see Isaac Kush right up on the back of Wouter here. As much as this isn't an overtaking opportunity through this, I call it this S section here of the track. It's interesting to see Wouter on those hard tires just has not been able to get a jump and get past Dan, who's still stuck behind. Just comparing to Nathan, who was just able to fly by both of them with relative ease in a span of a lap. So. We'll see if Isaac Kush on those medium tires, if he can get something similar as they head down the back straight. They're in a little bit of a DRS train here. So you can see Wouter closing, but is he going to close up enough? You can see down the inside alongside of Dan. And does he get the overtake done? Yes. Isaac Kush right behind, though. Is Dan going to be able to hang on to P7, or is he going to lose both? It's going to be close as they're still side by side there down the start-finish straight. So Wouter can breathe a little bit of a relief knowing these two are going to fight. But there you can see Isaac Kush, he does get the overtake done into turn 1. He does go up into 7th. For Dan, unfortunately, it's down to P8 as he now gets to see both those cars ahead of him rather than in his rearview mirrors as they were 1 lap ago.
Yep, indeed, and that's helped Nathan a lot because he's extended the gap to like 1.8. So those 3 battling there has allowed Nathan to pull away and essentially the net race leader. So it's worked in Nathan's favour. As Isaac Kush said, important move there to get past Dan, and now he has to try and get past Walter for P6 to try and reduce that gap, that 2-second gap towards Nathan, as he was leading the Grand Prix was Isaac Kush before the pit starts. Meanwhile, further behind, there was a good battle between Tin Can and Nathan JB. They went side by side in the hairpin. Pushed each other off a little bit, but yeah, Tin Can still made the move on Nathan for P11 on the brand new set of BD compound tyres. Meanwhile, Isaac Kush then, in fact, is JB1 close enough to rotation, those hard compound tyres versus the mediums? DRS enabled for JB in there as he's right behind rotation, using the ERS, pulls alongside, and yeah, good move there from JB. Rotation 5, and that's Williams who spun coming out of turn number virtual safety car.
Yeah, virtual safety car for what I can only assume was Nolan, who had a moment, and it really doesn't look like he has any front wing on that car. And no, there you have it. No front wing on the Williams of Nolan, so definitely explains the virtual safety car there. But you can see both Sophion and Rotation. They decided to use the opportunity to take a pit stop here, get onto a fresh set of tires, where the pit stop is in theory faster, given that everybody is having to respect a delta rather than racing at full speed as they normally would here. So interesting, and you can see a lot of the grid here really bunched up together through turn one. So this is going to make things very fun, very interesting here once we get the cue to go green, and once we do get that restart.
Yeah, this helps rotation and Sophia a lot, because they would have lost a lot of time. Well, not lost a lot of time, the normal time in the pit stops, but they managed to save up. And he's rejoined right behind Nathan and Tin Can and Peas, etc., to see if he can put battle on those brand new set of medium compound tyres then.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it was a good call, I think, for both those drivers. But I also don't blame both Mark and Jamie for staying out, being on the hard tires, knowing that you can still go quite a ways with them. Might as well keep track position, and maybe if they're lucky, they might see another virtual safety car or a full safety car. But what happened here to Dan? Yes, he spun. I know that spot all too well, I'll say, for Dan. So full sympathy from me for that spin. But down in 13th, now 14th as Rotation gets by. Very unfortunate for the McLaren driver, as looks like still a yellow flag here. Not going well, though, that last few corner section for Dan. But meanwhile, Nathan JB in the Red Bull, he gets by XL Tin Can to go up into 8th position with the help of DRS. So nice little overtake there, as they're going to continue their battle down the start-finish straight. And also Carmentalist on those medium tires, getting ahead of XL Larkin with DRS. Move done well before turn one, as that's the Ferrari driver up into 11th place, as now we can see Sophion, and you can just see that top 10 just ahead of him there, as that's going to be his next, I think his next task, as so to say.
Yep, and Relentless Nathan in P3 has caught up to the back of Jamie, the hard starter, so he needs to get past him on this straight, because if he doesn't, if he stays behind him for too long, that'll allow Isa Kush and the rest of them just to reduce that gap and bring them back into place. So Jamie versus Relentless Nathan there. Let's see if Jamie defends too hard. I don't think he will on those whole compounds. I think he's just running his own race at the moment. Obviously, when the virtual safety car came out, I think Jamie was already past the pit lane, so I don't think he could have pitted. Otherwise, he would have taken advantage, because his fight is with like Sofian and Rotation and Larkin and all that. But here comes Relentless Nathan then, alongside him. I don't think Jamie will use the ERS. Nope, he's saving that ERS wisely for Jamie in there, because he's got plenty installed. There's no need to use it with the inevitability of Nathan passing. And there it is then, up into P3.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw on the stream at least as P's getting ahead of Campbell on
goes
the
wide.
edge.
Goes wide.
Yeah, goes very wide, and that allowed Campbell to fight back. Larkin and Carmentalist are fighting as well through the exit, but around the final corner, it is Campbell in 6th, P's in 7th. For the time being, and let's see if we're going to see a move into turn one. Pease is closing, but unable to close enough to get the overtake done, at least on the entrance of turn one. Same goes for XL Tin Can on his battle with Nathan JB, as well as Carmentalist and Larkin, as they're going to be remaining where they are. But just from what I was mentioning previously, before all that happened, you saw Jamie 1 on the exit of that corner, leading down the back straight. Just a little bit of a snap oversteer that we saw on the stream there, which made him lose just a little bit of that extra run, which allowed Nathan to get the overtake done just that little bit easier, and possibly one of the reasons why Nathan was alongside already before even the DRS activation zone there.
And now it's Isa Kush's turn to try and overtake Jamie. And Jamie's got the ERS to defend with, but like I said previously with Nathan, I don't think he want to use it, because he knows the inevitability is coming of Isa Kush on those fresh and medium compound tyres overtaking it. So there goes the DRS then. Isa Kush doesn't have the ERS to try and overtake him, but he's too close. Oh, I thought he could have hit him there. As we go down the inside then into... I was quite scary from there, but
yeah.
Pease overtakes him down in the hairpin. Finally gets Campbell. Does he make the braking zone? Yes, he does. Doesn't run out wide this time and makes that move one lap later than he would have wanted.
Yeah, but the move got done for Peas, and yeah, a little bit close for comfort. I'm sure if you're Izat there, maybe gripping the wheel, gripping the pad just a little bit tighter there, seeing a slight little wiggle from Jamie. Really don't
Ooh,
think there was
Tinkan and
anything.
Nathan going side by
Oh
side.
yeah, and almost looked like they came in contact, but I think that was just the camera angles getting the
They did
best of me
touch.
there. Oh, they did touch there. Okay.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
aboard with Tinkan. I was so close between the two. Nathan just stays ahead of Tinkan, but will Tinkan try and get him down into turn 6? Here we go. Nathan defending the inside line. Who will break later on the brakes? It looks like Nathan will outbrake himself. Does Tinkan get a switchback and a better exit? Yes, he does. As they go side by side, you don't really see a overtaking happen around here. And Nathan will try and stick it in. They go side by side now. In the corners, you don't really want to fight. It's very easy to lose the car. And Tinkan just stays ahead of Nathan. Nathan hit the back of Tinkan there, but Tinkan that takes P8 away. Those two have had a really good scrap over P8. But also, they've got Sophia right behind on those medium compact tyres. So Nathan and Tinkan got to watch out for Sophia right behind them. But really good battle going on there between Nathan and Tinkan.
Yep, and I don't think it's anywhere near over between these two drivers. As you can see, heading down the back straight now. I have a feeling with DRS active. I think Nathan JB, not much ERS to work with, but you can see DRS more than enough to at least put him alongside. Tin Can defending to the inside, but now it's Nathan JB's turn to try a little bit of a switchback opportunity there. Unable to pull it off as well as we saw Tin Can, but Tin Can going a little bit wide and taking a 3-second time penalty to be added on to his time. Now going into turn 1, here we go, do it all again. A little bit of contact into the first corner, but now Nathan gets ahead on the exit. Tin Can, you can see just sticking that, just trying to stick with him, but Nathan gets the exit, and he does go up into 8th. XL Tin Can, a good battle between these two drivers, but for now, Nathan JB taking back that P8 that he lost just about a lap ago, and no,
he's lost traction.
XL Tin
He's
Can
lost traction.
and that's a heavy wing damage for Tin Can. I think very similar to what happened to Nolan, and once again, that brings out a virtual safety car here to clean up that debris. Now, are we gonna see Mark? Ooh, he's got a little bit of a ways to go. He's just heading down that back straight now. Possibly a pit stop here from Mark on lap 16. If he can make it to the pit stops in time, I would think. Would you pit if you were Mark in this situation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He's coming to the end of his stint anyway on those hard compound tyres, so let's see then. Is the virtual safety car going to stay out long for Mark to pit? And Mark takes the final corner then, so he's decided not to pit because I think the virtual safety car is ending. He doesn't have enough time to pit, I don't think. So we'll just wait for that virtual safety car, but I will definitely pit. But I think he might be going from hards to softs because 11 laps on the softs. It's doable, but obviously the softs, once they're trashed, they're trashed, so they can't really do anything about it. I think he wants to avoid the medium compound tyres as we get back to racing speed yet again as Walter
and Nathan on the sorry, I just noticed that very quickly. Nathan right on the end of that virtual safety car. He went for a spin, got back on track, and then you could see getting right up involved with this battle between Jamie and Wouter was trying to get by. Now Nathan on a little bit of a charge, and he does re-get ahead of Jamie, and there goes Wouter behind alongside, and Wouter gets the overtake done, but really unfortunate for Nathan, just losing the car in turn 1, getting that little bit of a half spin. It could have been much worse for him, but unfortunately the damage was done, as now he sees he's at Cush well ahead of him with a nice little 3-second cushion here with only 11 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
Drive ahead is known of Nathan, so will Nathan gets the DRS off and only he needs it because Walter is essentially right behind him. As you can see that the rear tyre is sliding as Nathan needs to call them down. He hasn't got DRS, I don't think, behind Nolan, and Walter has got DRS behind Nathan, but if Nolan doesn't get out of the way before the last corner, Nathan should have the DRS. And there's also another car ahead, that's Issa Kush. So the gap between Issa and Nathan's 2.8 as the favour has swung back towards Issa Kush. But QVR Campbell going down the inside of Total Peas, that they're going side by side out the corner as Peas that has the inside line for the next corner. But QVR Campbell, he has the DRS right behind Pease, and Pease also has the DRS as well. As you can see, Campbell just derated down the straight there. He had no ERS whatsoever, used it all. He's allowed it in one lap, but Pease stays ahead of QVR Campbell, and their next driver ahead is Jamie One. So both of them then will be right behind Jamie on the straight as he's going for a very long stint on those hardcore power tyres. And Nathan still hasn't got past Nolan, but I think he'll get past him now. I think Nolan's just came out the pit lane to put on a brand new set of hardcore power tyres, so his tyres will be better. But obviously, with the blue flags involved, I think he should get out of the way to avoid those penalties.
Yep, I do think you should, especially with the blue flags flying.
This is distracted, if that makes sense, because he's inside him and you lose sight of your corners. You can see Nathan just went a little bit wide in the middle of the corner there, so it can be distracted. I know he's ghosted, but at the same time, it can be very distracted. It can affect your eye line coming into the corners.
Yeah, of course, and I know, of course, definitely, as far as the rules are concerned, if you're Nolan, if you feel you've got the pace here, as XL Tin Can, he calls it quits in the pit lane. He said enough is enough, but, and if you're Nolan, if you feel that you've got the pace to unlap yourself, you are allowed to unlap, but what we don't want is for lapped cars to be racing unlapped cars here, and like you said, affecting the vision, affecting the eye line, and just kind of getting in the way, even with the ghosting here, trying to race through. Of course, you do see that sometimes with the ghosting. You'll see cars they'll race right through other cars that they're ghosted to try to gain that little bit of that extra speed, and that can be really frustrating, really confusing. But as P's now getting ahead of Jamie, and you can see those hard tires, I think for Jamie One really starting to fall off a little bit more than what they already have been. It's been a couple laps now that we've seen Jamie One moving in the opposite direction of what he'd like, so I do think his pit stop is probably coming up sooner rather than later, as now that's QVR Campbell trying to send it down the inside. Ooh, a little bit of a half moment turns into a big moment for Campbell. Can he keep it out of the wall? Short answer, no, but more to what... Ooh, that was scary as he joined back into the track. I was fearing the worst after what we saw in qualifying, but I think as far as what could have been for Campbell, I think that went possibly better for him than what we could have seen. Meanwhile, Wouter does get ahead of Nathan before that back straight.
Oh, they almost lost it. Do you see that? Both of them almost lost it at the exit of that right-hander, but they managed to keep it, and that's brought total P's into play. Nathan, with the ERS advantage, switches to the inside at the very last moment and gets back ahead of Walter. You can see a little cheeky there, open and close the DRS, and Pease is right behind Walter, so Pease in a really good position now to try and take these two on. Despite starting P17 to P5 on a normal strategy, no help from anything, and Nathan goes off the track then, and the other Nathan's fighting with Sophia for P7. Have a look at that battle as the side-by-side with Larkin. They're going side-by-side in the final corner. Not really a place you want to go side-by-side, because one of you is guaranteed to go off the track, which you can see there Larkin has done. He gets ahead of Nathan. Was that a legal overtake? I'm not quite sure. If it was, he needs to give that place back ASAP to avoid the penalty, but he doesn't go down the inside, so it seems like Larkin can keep the place in 8th place. Carl Mensless, though, is going to sneak down the inside of Nathan into turn 1, into turn 2. Now into turn 2 we go. Nathan this time has the inside as he stays ahead of Carl Mensless there. But yeah, that battle between QVR Campbell and Jamie. Jamie was not giving up, was he? He was just defending the inside, and also Campbell got put into a acute angle, and in a slow speed corner like that, traction is very hard to gain up.
Yeah, already it's. It is definitely possible to get the overtakes done through that corner. Although going side by side as oh my goodness, Nathan's connection as far as its discussion with mine is really funky. Just as I was running on board with Carmentalus there. But no, it's difficult to go side by side, and you saw the contact was done. I thought Campbell was able to save it with that snap oversteer, but unfortunately, I think he saved the initial oversteer, but then possibly just lost the back end with that snap correction there, and the damage was done afterwards.
Did you see that? Walter went on the grass on the straight. He fully went on the grass. Mark's in the pits, and meanwhile Larkin is fighting with Sophia yet again. Can't go around the outside there, so have to wait for another moment as Mark will then go on the soft compound tyres towards the end of the city. Let's see what he can do. They'll be the fastest man out there on his brand new set of softs, but Pease and Walter ever so close between these two. You see Wilder defending there. He has to attack and defend, so we're going to do two things at once as Sophia. Oh, he's been overtaken by Larkin there. Up into P6 he goes. So Mark rejoins in P11, 2 seconds behind Campbell, who's got a big train ahead of him. So we'll see some overtaking for Mark shortly once he arrives there. But it's so close between Relentless Nathan, Relentless Walter, and Relentless Pease. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It should be a very good battle. And Sophia downwards is also going to be a good battle as well. The only man yet to pit is the AlphaTauri of Jamie down in P5 there. I expect her in the pit lane very shortly as those hard tyres there will be good towards the end. However, still doing a good job. He's not dropped off massively behind Pease. As Sophia and Larkin go inside, but in fact, is he spun?
That's Larkin, yeah. Larkin
he's spun. He's gone off the track.
Yeah, gone off the track through the S's. A virtual safety car comes out once again, and I was just thinking if you're Jamie 1, you might be holding out a little bit longer for essentially exactly this. Either that or a full safety car, which can allow him to take his pit stop and take it just a little bit quicker there. So I think for Jamie 1, I'd be more surprised if he doesn't dive into the pits a little bit further ahead. You can see the 3 REL drivers. They're well aware that it's virtual safety car, but I think I think they're all just trying to play a little bit of mind games with one another for when they do finally go back to green flag racing, just kind of saying, hey, I'm there, I want to get this overtake done, it's gonna happen, be ready for it type thing.
Jamie picked up a 3-second time penalty once he was into the pit lane. Do you know where Lewis Hamilton went off in 2007? Yep. He just cut the cord as Nathan's been disqualified. Relentless Nathan. No, it's not. It's
drive-through. No, it's a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. So very an unfortunate mistake, but of course with the way these deltas are, there went Pease almost launching it into this corner side by side with Wouter now, as now he's got nowhere to go because Nathan has taken his line. What is going on here between these 3 drivers? And you can see Nolan kind of getting involved here as the ghosted car, just to add a little bit of an extra flair into this.
Look at that. So really 3-1.
really 3-car battle there, but I mean, Pease, he saw the opportunity around the outside, had the move done, but now hang on a minute, as now he goes down the inside here. There's still side by side, there's contact here, really elbows out between between Wouter and Pease there with this battle. So Wouter's still in 3rd, Pease in 4th. But really down into, I believe it was turn 4, turn 5, so close, but just had nowhere to go with Nathan taking that outside line. Once again, Pease is going to try to go for the overtake. You can see Wouter really doing a good job defending the switchback there, as we've seen time and time again over the course of this race. That switchback in that corner has been so powerful. Meanwhile, Mark and Nathan JB switching spots. Campbell and Carmental is battling, but I can't get my eyes off this battle here. Wouter trying to sneak it down the inside. Pease around the outside now, as they're still side by side here, I think, just about. But no, Wouter gets ahead on the inside line. Now it's Nathan who's up into 2nd with Pease, who's alongside now. How is this battle going to play out here between now and the end of the race? It's been... Let's see, once again, around 23, lap 23, Pease trying to go around the outside, doesn't quite have the traction as much as he did 1 lap ago, so he's going to end up sitting beside, and I think I'm going to get a tiny little bit of a breather here through this section as, a little bit of contact there between Pease and Wouter, as I think Pease just clipped the back of Wouter's car. I thought Wouter was going to go for it on Nathan with that wider line, but was not meant to be. But I'm just going to take a quick breather here before we get to do it all again down the back straight.
Switch it, everybody. Look at that, I saw 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th battle at the hairpin. Carmental has lost traction at the hairpin the lap before that allowed rotations to get through, but he's overtaking rotation. Nathan overtaking Campbell and Mark into P5. These continue to fight as they are fighting right now. Whilst defending the inside line, making Pease go a long way around the outside again. Now they go side by side. Oh, contact been made as P's lost it on traction there with the curbers there as well. So if these three continue to fight like this, the guy sitting nicely in P5 will be able to close up and overtake on those soft compound tyres. So if I was in his position, that'd be really good. As P's they're trying to go around the outside of Walter. Walter opening his closing and opening his closing his DRS. And there P's trying to go around the outside then. Have the inside hands and then it's cut up, but Walter says no, you're not taking that. And they're being very aggressive there is Walter and the rest of them. But Mark is gaining in massively there. 3.8 like a Sergio Perez defend there going on so far.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, it's Carmentalist and oh no, and that was Campbell who went for, he had a little bit of a spin on the exit of that corner, so he's going to fall down the order just a little bit there in his battle with Carmentalist, I believe it was. So a little unfortunate for Campbell, as he was having a good race for the most part, but just a couple unforced errors, or a couple errors of his own accord really made the difference for him here. But, I mean, this battle between for second, third, and fourth that's been just going on, brewing. I mean, it's been very elbows out, but I mean, you got to think they're probably all. I'm sure there's no love lost between these three drivers. I'm sure they're all probably just having a great time here with this battle. Amongst each other. But now Wouter, is he going to go for it on Nathan? Gets the overtake done. Can he get the braking done in time? Yes, he does. But Nathan on the outside line. Are they going to go side by side through the final corner here? Oh, and they both dove into the pits. Oh, yeah,
both serving the drive-through penalty.
True, I completely forgot about the drive-through penalty. It feels like it's been ages ago, and I think there was a 5-second time penalty that was awarded to one of those drivers for causing a collision with the other driver as they were both entering the pit lane fighting for position there.
Just a fun fight. It is pre-season racing at overall, so just having a nice little fight there between putting great action on. It's lap 25. This has allowed Isa Kush to pull away and outside Pease from P17 to P2. Mark sitting very comfortably in P3. Also, Pease has a penalty on his name, so I think Mark will take P2 away from it. Also, will be on those soft compound tyres with the extra grip as well. But Nathan and Walter will continue their fight down in P10 and P11 with the drive-through penalty being served. Both racing towards the pit lane. But good action there from all three of them. I think it's just all love. It's all put on a show, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, someone spotted that. Is Williams. That's Pease.
That was Pease, yeah. So Pease, that same corner that we saw. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Dan a little bit earlier in the race. I think just getting on the power a little bit too quickly. Hadn't opened up the steering enough. As now Sophion overtaking Pease down that back straight, just having a little bit of extra pace. You can see Nathan JB, is he gonna go for it down the inside? A little bit of a late decision from Nathan, as now he and Pease go side by side as that gets sorted out around the final corner there. Pease in fourth, Nathan in fifth, with the Ferrari of Carmentalist a little bit further behind in sixth, but still very much so in this battle here.
I think Nathan had to go for it because the overspeed he had, I think he would have hit the back of Pease, so he had to try and go down the inside as Pease is going around the outside of Sophia. Does he have the grip to try and stick it on? And then no, he doesn't. Sophia stays in P3, but Pease is right behind him, tucked him behind his slipstream. Can he get him into turn 6? Will he try to? He'll think about it, but he can't quite do so. As Nathan having a good look there. Carmentis is also the back of Nathan as well, so got plenty of action in these last 3 laps of this race. No safety cars have been deployed other than virtual.
Yep, so it's been a very, very quick race, though, all considered. Just the virtual safety cars to allow to clear up the debris, but for the most part, it's been just pure green flag racing, and my goodness, have we had some racing here today. And, I mean, this is just the preseason. We've got, I mean, we haven't even started the actual season yet, and I think this is what we're seeing in preseason. I'm excited already for what we've got in store once we do kick things off. But still, 2 laps to go here down the back straight You can see Sophion leading Peas, leading Nathan, but you can see Peas, I thought he was going to go for the overtake, but maybe just trying to send a fake in Sophion's way, maybe try to force a mistake, force a bit of a later braking from Sophion, as we've got a yellow flag, as that's Mark, who went for a spin. The drama's not over yet. Here is Mark, who seemed to be comfortably in second, now finds himself in 6th place. Sophion and Peas going alongside one another here. That's Peas on the outside, Sophion on the inside for the moment. Who's going to come out at turn 2 ahead as they're one alongside another here? And it is going to be Peas who gets that P2. And I mean, both of them having a 3-second time penalty, and they're battling it out. Who was that? Sophion that was forced a little bit wide on the edge of that corner. But now if you're Nathan, you know they both have a 3-second time penalty ahead. As much as you want to battle, as long as you stay where you are, you've probably got that P2 in the bag either way. Same thing for Carmentalus there, who also doesn't have a penalty to his name just yet, as we're on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, very good race indeed throughout the whole of the Chinese Grand Prix. Now Sophia then, can he try and get Relentless Nathan picks up a penalty in P10? Can he try and get Peas on the back straight here? And Mark, are those soft tyres still good enough shape, being 5 laps old, to try and gain something back from this race? It is a yellow flag, and that is Sofian, who's slowing down. He's run out of fuel! He's run out of fuel! Sofian has run out of fuel, he's dropping back! And it is the last lap. It's lap 27 for him, but it'll be lap 28 when he crosses the line. But he's just underfueled the car a bit too much, and he's dropping down to P7 and further behind. And that's a massive shame there for Sophia. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody run out of fuel in the race in this game and the last game as well. So it's been a long time since I've seen that happen. But that's a shame for him, going downwards and downwards, and nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, very much a shame for him. But unfortunately, with 1 lap to go, I think for that might be the end of Sophion's race here. He can stick with it all he wants, but he's going to be a slow runner on that last lap of the Grand Prix. But I think it's about minimizing the damage. Meanwhile, you were mentioning Mark on the soft tires. He's going to try to go for an overtake here alongside a Carmentalist. You can see the grip difference there as Mark gets the move done relatively easily. Next up is Nathan JB, as he's closing only 0.3 of a second behind, and you can see both Nathan JB and Peas in the distance. But I think for Mark to essentially give himself back to where he was, as long as he can get past Nathan JB, I think he should be happy, and that's essentially. I mean, not like the spin never happened, but he gets himself back to where he was previously with the penalties. But heading down the back straight one final time here, is Mark going to be able to get the overtake done, or is Nathan JB going to be able to hang on as Izat Kush crosses the line? He is the winner here of the Chinese Grand Prix. Another very strong performance from him, and really benefited from just taking that pit stop and kind of running away with the lead, not getting involved in these battles. Mark unable to get the overtake done, so as Peas crosses the line in second, it's going to be Nathan JB who gets P2 in the Red Bull, with Mark still salvaging a podium up into 3rd place, with Carmentalist in 4th and Peas rounding out the top 5.
That wild to lose his wheel.
Yeah, and I think similar to a little bit of what we saw out there crossing the line in style there, crosses the line, hits the wall, and just having a little bit of fun there on the end of the race. But let's see, you can see, well, I could say Sophion and Manja Viking having a little bit of a battle there, but I don't know if it's much of a battle given the pace difference here between that Ferrari with fuel and the Mercedes car that is running on low fuel mode. But there we go. Crawls across the line to Sophion as the last running driver there. Little unfortunate though for him, as he was running so well, but I think just a little bit of mismanaging of fuel for him, and running out just a little bit too early there. Maybe predicting I think, honestly, Sophion might have been predicting at least one full caution safety car, and possibly under fueling, assuming that was going to happen. But it never came. We only had the virtual safety cars.
Yeah, I agree. I would have done the same thing as well. Predicted the safety car around this track is very high indeed, so don't blame him for that. But sadly, there was no safety car for him to save enough fuel. But well done to Isa Kush there, leading and just running away with it. Ever since Relentless Nathan made that mistake under the third virtual safety car, but the other Nathan in the Red Bull, second place. Another podium to him. Mark in P3, Commensless P4, P's in P5 and P17, Jamian in P6. Never mentioned him. He did catch the pack towards the end of the race. Campbell in P17, Rotation P8, nice race from him. Danny P9, Nathan in P10, Walter, Larkin, Major Viking, Sofian, Roland, Tinkan, Jeroen, who we never saw in the race. Tinkan and Jeroen, sadly for them.
Yeah, for Tinkan and Drone ending the race a little bit early into the pit lane, just not having it just wasn't their day today. But I mean, you gotta hand it to Pease from 17th up into 5th, a strong showing. I mean, Izad, who's representing Germany here this week, just a solid race once again all around from the defending champion. And I mean, that's the way the two preseason races have gone for him. Very much so a statement heading into the start of season 6 next week that he's here to race, he's here to defend, and if they want to take the title away from him, well, they're gonna have to get up real early. They're gonna have to work hard to get it done. But like I was saying, this race has really got me excited for the start of the actual season, which is coming next week, as we'll take to the Red Bull Ring. It's our usual season opener of Austria, and I'm really excited for that one already here. But before we round things off, Jamie, any final words here before we end off the stream?
Can't wait for the actual race to start in Austria. Austria always produces some fantastic racing, high chance for safety cars there as well. So it should be a really good one with Austria, and I can't wait to commentate it with you, Eric.
Yep, I can't wait either. You said it best. Austria always bringing out a great race. It's been a staple of the start of the season for the ISRL calendar for quite a bit. Great to see us going back there. It's fast. It's quick. It's fast in terms of lap time. Fast in terms of the driving. I'm excited, and I'm excited to commentate it with you as well, Jamie. But until then, on behalf of Jamie, myself, and everybody here at ISRL Esports, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic evening.
And you guys.